You wake before dawn, and you are not alone. You are never alone. There are men standing in your bedchamber. There were men here while you slept, watching you breathe. Now they wait to dress you, to hand you your shirt, to lace your boots, because a king does not dress himself. From the moment you open your eyes, every movement you make is watched, weighed, and remembered. You're a medieval king. And your life is nothing like the fantasy. When we picture a king, we picture the top of the world. Absolute power. Endless feasts. A man who can do whatever he wants, take whatever he wants, and answer to no one alive. The crown as the ultimate prize. But the truth is almost the exact opposite. Being king was one of the most dangerous jobs in the medieval world. A life with no privacy, no rest, and no real safety. A life where the people closest to you were often the ones most likely to kill you. Where the crown on your head was not a reward at all. It was a target. Let's start with the biggest illusion of them all. Your power. You believe you rule your kingdom. You don't. Not alone, and not freely. Beneath you sit powerful lords, barons who hold their own lands, their own castles, their own private armies. You did not hand them that power, and you cannot simply take it back. You rule only as long as enough of them allow it. Push them too hard, tax them too deep, lose too many wars, and they will turn on you. In 1215, the barons of England did exactly that. They rose against King John, cornered him, and forced him to press his seal to a document that limited his own power by law. We call it Magna Carta, and the lesson was burned into every crown that came after it. A king who pushes too far can be dragged back into line by the very men who serve him. So, your power is not a possession. It is a negotiation every single day of your life, and you cannot rule it from a comfortable throne room either. You're almost always on the move. There is no single capital, no palace where you simply sit and reign. To rule, you must be seen. So you travel endlessly, castle to castle, town to town, dragging an entire court behind you. Advisors, servants, guards, clerks, cooks, hundreds of people in horses and wagons grinding down muddy roads. Part of the reason is brutally simple. It is easier to move the king to the food than to haul the food to the king. So you eat your way across your own kingdom, one noble's estate at a time, and you never truly stop. And wherever you go, you are never private. You eat in front of an audience, you pray in front of witnesses, your body, your health, your marriage, even the fathering of your children, all of it is the business of the state. Your life is a performance that never ends and never lowers the curtain. Now the part that could kill you on any given day, war. A medieval king is not a man who sits safely behind the lines. You're expected to lead, to ride at the front into the thick of it, where arrows and blades do not care what sits on your brow. Ask Richard the Lionheart, one of the most feared warrior kings in all of Europe. In 1199, laying siege to a minor castle over a petty quarrel, he was struck by a single crossbow bolt. The wound festered and turned rotten. Within days, the Lionheart was dead. Or ask William Rufus, King of England, struck through by an arrow while hunting in the year 1100. A death so convenient for his rivals that people still argue about who truly loosed the shot. The crown made you a commander. It also made you the single most valuable target on every field you ever set foot on. But the deadliest threat did not stand across the battlefield. It sat at your own table. Your rivals were your blood. Your brothers who might covet your throne. Your cousins nursing their own claims to it. And worst of all, your sons. Consider Henry II, one of the mightiest kings of his age. His own sons, encouraged by their own mother, rose in armed rebellion against him. Not once, but again and again. Picture ruling a kingdom while knowing that the children you raised are out there raising armies to tear it from your hands. And if you died without a strong, clear heir, you handed your kingdom something worse than any foreign invasion. Civil war. When a succession was disputed, the realm turned on itself. Noble against noble, for years of ruin. So you needed a son. Desperately. The peace of an entire kingdom could hang on whether a queen could deliver a healthy boy. And yet, after all of it, the barons, the battles, the treacherous sons, the thing most likely to end you was something no crown could fight at all. Disease. There was no royal immunity. On campaign, crammed into camps with thousands of unwashed men, kings died the same squalid death as their lowest foot soldiers. Dysentery. The bloody flux. It killed King John in 1216. It killed Edward I. It killed Henry V in 1422, one of the greatest warrior kings England ever produced, brought down not by a French sword but by a sickness of the gut. in a tent far from home. The most powerful man in the kingdom, undone by dirty water. So this is the life the whole world was taught to envy. Yes, there was gold, there were feasts and jewels, and men who dropped to their knees when you entered a room, but there was also a bedchamber that was never empty, a power that could be revoked by law, a family that watched your throne like wolves, a battlefield that wanted your blood, and a body that could be killed by the same sickness that killed a stable boy. The crown was not a prize for winning at life. It was a weight, gilded, glittering, and almost unbearably heavy. The man who wore it was envied by millions, and free less than almost any of them. We began with a peasant, woken by a bell, bound to a few acres of earth he would never leave. And here is the king, woken by watchers, bound to a throne he could never truly rest upon. Two ends of the very same world. One of them feared hunger, the other feared everyone. And when at last they were both lowered into the ground, the crown bought nothing but a grander stone. Beneath it, the fear that ruled their lives was exactly the same.